The mess hall was loud with the clatter of trays and chatter of soldiers winding down after drills. Steam rose from trays of reheated rations, the air heavy with the smell of coffee and disinfectant. At one corner table sat a young woman in a simple olive t-shirt, her hair tied neatly back, quietly eating her lunch. She didn't wear rank insignia, just a plain uniform and an old wristband, faded from years of use. Around her, a group of officers were laughing at something near the food line. The laughter stopped when a tall, broad-shouldered man in a sharply pressed uniform entered, General Marcus Denton, infamous for his short temper and arrogance. The crowd subtly stiffened as he strode in, boots echoing off the tile floor. Denton's gaze swept the room like a storm, until it landed on the lone woman sitting at the corner table. "What's this?" he sneered, walking over. "A civilian eating in my mess hall." The woman looked up calmly. "Permission was granted, sir," she said, her voice quiet but firm. He didn't like the tone. "I didn't ask who granted it. I asked why you're here." When she didn't immediately reply, he smirked and, with one swift motion, kicked her tray off the table. Food splattered across the floor. The mess hall went silent. Every soldier froze, no one dared to breathe. She didn't react. She slowly stood, eyes locked on him. For a moment, Denton felt something sharp in her gaze, calm but deadly. "You should pick that up," she said softly. The room collectively inhaled. Denton barked a laugh. "Do you have any idea who you're talking to?" Before she could answer, the door slammed open. 3 men in black tactical uniforms entered, Navy SEALs. The lead SEAL spotted her immediately and snapped to attention. "Commander Hale, ma'am, we've been looking for you." Every head in the mess hall turned. Denton froze. The SEAL continued, "Headquarters requests your immediate report. The Joint Chiefs are waiting for your assessment on Operation Neptune." A visible shock rippled through the crowd. Denton's smug grin vanished. "Commander, Joint Chiefs." The woman he'd just humiliated was a Navy SEAL commander, and not just anyone. Commander Alara Hale, the war hero rumored to have led the covert rescue at Marawi, a classified mission no one dared discuss openly. She gave the SEALs a brief nod, then turned back to the general. "Next time, General," she said quietly, "remember that not every uniform wears its rank on the outside." The SEALs fell in behind her as she walked out, leaving the entire mess hall in stunned silence. Denton stood frozen, the faint echo of her boots ringing in his ears, each step a reminder that respect isn't demanded by rank, but earned by who you are when no one's watching. General Denton stood rooted in place long after Commander Hale left the mess hall. The silence around him was thick, suffocating. Every soldier had gone still, unsure whether to move or wait for his explosion. But there was no shouting this time, only a hollow stare as Denton looked at the spilled tray on the floor. Minutes later, the door opened again. 2 officers from Command Intelligence entered, their expressions unreadable. One of them, Colonel Reeves, stepped forward. "General Denton," he said flatly, "you're needed in the briefing room." Now. Denton straightened, trying to regain his composure. "What is this about?" Reeves didn't answer. "You'll see." When they reached the operations wing, the atmosphere was completely different, tense, electric. A dozen senior officers were seated around a glowing digital map of the Pacific. And at the head of the table sat Commander Alara Hale, now in full uniform. Her insignia gleamed beneath the lights: silver trident, seal pin, and classified clearance badge. Denton froze in the doorway. The same woman whose lunch tray he'd kicked an hour ago was now leading the meeting. "Ah, General Denton," she said without looking up. "Glad you could join us. We were just reviewing your division's failure to secure the coastal supply line." The room went dead quiet. Denton's jaw tightened. "Commander Hale, with all due respect." She finally looked at him, her gaze calm but cold. "Respect," she said, voice steady. "You mean the kind you show by kicking a subordinate's tray in front of your men?" A few officers exchanged uneasy glances. Even Reeves shifted uncomfortably. Denton tried to recover. "I didn't realize." "That's the problem," Hale interrupted, standing. "You don't realize the kind of people who serve under you. You see rank. You see medals. You don't see the soldiers." She stepped closer, just enough for him to see the combat scar along her jaw, a faint white line earned in a mission Denton had only read about in redacted reports. "While you were in meetings, I was pulling your wounded men out of a burning convoy in Kandahar. The least you could do is treat your own people like they matter." The room remained silent. No one dared speak. After a long pause, General Denton swallowed hard. "You have my apology, Commander," he said finally, his voice lower. Hale gave a single nod, then turned to the others. Apology accepted. Let's move on. We have a mission to plan. As the briefing resumed, Denton took a seat, no longer at the head of the table, but quietly at the side. When the lights dimmed for the next presentation, he caught a glimpse of her across the room. Calm, focused, commanding respect without ever needing to raise her voice. In that moment, Denton understood. True authority isn't worn, it's earned, one act of courage at a time,